guys, how is your Wednesday? Happy Wednesday to all of you. My name is Miss Phil. I'm back here with your favorite show, Let's Talk, and this episode we're definitely going to be discussing how to handle finances during tough economic times. Before I go any further, I will let my guest introduce himself to you. For those who are here during the last episode, his face might be a bit familiar. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Umekuaje?
I've been well. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah.
My name is Amos Ngahu and I'm a financial coach, and we're here to relate better with our finances.
Especially during this period. Yeah, you know, juzi tumekuwa na pale Twitter #lower food prices. Yani the economy has become tough such that even basic needs like food are starting to be affected, and Kenyans are feeling the pinch. I'm sure you've seen the memes and everything that's going around with cooking oil.
Yes.
And you know, it could be a meme and you're laughing about it, but at a personal level, for some people, most people going by the hashtag are feeling the pinch. So I want us to start our conversation from there, because the income is the same, but the expense has gone up. With that kind of, you know, picture, how do we, at a personal level, manage to navigate these times?
Well, it's a very difficult time. I wish I was a prophet and just you know, pray for people. But the thing is, you realize that it's not everybody who's feeling it, and we must be able to know how we are treating this particular hard economic times, because you realize there are people who have been struggling all along, even when the prices were low. If today you do like the times I leave the house, you can see from the security guard, you can see the matatus are behaving the way they are behaving, border guys are back at it. Everybody is risking. You go to, especially here on Gong Road, kids are on holidays. What is happening? You find kids now are knocking on your windows. They are not doing anything else. They've been told, go look for money. I mean, everybody is just risking it. Everybody is out there looking for it. So there are some people who have gotten used to it. They've never known a high price. They've never known a low price. Everything is way above their reach. And then now there is a middle class. Now, because of our lack of preparing for all seasons, and this is where majority fall, this is when now it's hitting us. Remember last time we discussed about the chains of habits. They cannot easily be felt until they are too difficult to be broken.
Okay. So
now you've realized that people are complaining about the price of oil, cooking oil. Have clubs closed?
No.
Watu wanapiga sherehe, si ndio?
More than ever.
So you will find someone may not complain about the price of beer, but they will complain about the price of oil. So that tells you something. There's something that, you know, is going to happen, because seasons will always be there. There will always be a season when you don't have money and the season where you have money. And then now we go to the other class, which has no idea what is the price of cooking oil, because they are way up there. I mean, them bora, they get their salad made in olive oil. It has to be olive oil, not the kawaida oil you're using. So it's much more expensive. So the thing is, I'd like to look at it in a holistic way.
Okay. Because
we must agree that seasons will always be there. You'll always find there's a time that you're in a good season. There's a time that you'll find you're only surviving with the little that you have. Then you get to the extreme side where now you're looking at everything and you cannot afford. You're on the extreme end. And then there's a recovering bit where now you can start paying your debt slowly and you can start recovering. So the thing is, we must prepare, look at a holistic picture and see how we can prepare for all these seasons. Because have we been here before? Are we the only ones who are going through this?
No, I think it's the whole world.
Yeah, and you can imagine what guys in Ukraine are going through. Them, it's not about price, it's availability, because there's a war. And for us, we have to start adjusting and say, at a personal level, why am I feeling this? Is it because I don't have much money? Or is it because I could do better in terms of planning? Or is it because there's too much leakage when it comes to my finances? So we must be able to address it in a holistic way. Otherwise, every time we will become like our seasons. You know, you've noticed that every time there's a huge rain in the northern part of our country, there are floods. Every time it's dry, people are dying. I was told a child died last week out of hunger. So is the problem really the lack of water? No. It's not. It's poor management of resources. So we must be able to see where is our problem.
Yeah. Okay. As we think about where exactly is our problem, let me read some of your comments. Kuna mtu anajiita pale mimi wewe mimi. Anasema fast cash in, fast cash out. I think you've put it in few words manze. Pesa inaingia haraka lakini pia venye inaingia ndio inatoka. Alafu kuna mwingine anajiita Diet Select. Hey, your names are amazing today. Anasema hey Amos Ngahu, happy to see you there. Alafu Geoffrey Otieno anauliza, how can people survive with this economy of today? That's what we're discussing today, Geoffrey Otieno. And remember, if you have question for our guest, shoot pale kwenye comment section. Any question about finances. Of course, I know our topic is tough economic times, but he will also be able to answer any question that you have. So tumefika hapo pati ya personal level.
Yes.
Manze, salary ni the same. Lakini expenses ziko juu. Mtu anafanya nini? Unaacha kukula lunch? Because that's what people are doing. Surviving with one meal a day. It's either you skip breakfast, lunch, ama kule supper. Tuko hapo.
I think we're going to consult that person calling themselves Diet Select.
Oh.
So that we can know how to select our diets, whether we are going, because at the end of the day, I was listening to someone and they painted a very clear picture, and it made me think, is it that when let's say if you're going to buy meat, so middle class, when you're coming from poverty, you will do a lot of meat, you'll feel like that's the best food. But then when you advance and you start now addressing your diet, the more you will do less of red meat.
Yeah.
The more you will do less of sugar, the more you become a bit sophisticated. And I've seen that chain. And I'm not actually joking about the Diet Select, because you realize some of the things that we really feel we must have, sometimes they are not necessary. So sometimes even when you sit with kids, with your children, and you have to do, instead of meat, you can do, let's say, soya. I'm not a nutritionist, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Do they understand how to adjust? You get?
Yeah.
Sometimes we feel like, because I didn't eat pizza when I was growing up, I feel like my kids should have pizza every Sunday.
Every day. So, or Sunday.
Or every weekend. But if they must do so, how can it be affordable? Can we bake pizza? Is it baked or is it cooked? Can we do pizza at home?
Yeah.
You know, we all make our own. When we buy ingredients, that might be cheaper. So we must be able, like I said, on a personal level, seeing how we can adjust. And remember, when you talk about children, I have been a children's minister for a very long time, you know, Sunday school and teaching children. And if you have children, you need to know that they watch more than they listen. They're actually adults in small bodies.
Okay.
So they're actually looking at you. If you're on Sunday, you're busy using your phone to borrow extra, I don't want to mention the word, to use that extra borrowing to pay for your bill, your child is watching. So they know they will always get what they want, even if you will borrow.
Okay.
But if you have a budget and tell them, this month we only have this amount of money, pizza costs X amount of money, isn't it? But if we buy these ingredients and this, we can save on this. What are you teaching them? You're teaching them how to adjust. If times are hard and you feel like you need to scale down, tell your kids, you know, now we are going to move from a 3-bedroom house to a 2-bedroom house, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're going to do a decker instead of a single room individually. Now you're going to a public school. Do you know a lot of successful people went through public schools?
Yeah, Meskia.
Yeah. But because we feel like our kids need better, so all the things we do, we don't do for our kids, we do it for ourselves.
You do it Yeah, actually, when you talked about the need that you lacked this,
Yes.
and you get children, you feel like because I lacked,
Yes.
they must.
Yes.
And there's something you're communicating.
And that's the thing. The other day we were discussing why today you'll find, we were discussing Arsenal, I'm an Arsenal fan, and I remember there was a time Thierry Henry was beyond reach. That guy was a sprinter, he would score. Probably you're still young, but we went a whole season unbeaten. And we were discussing, how come we no longer produce such players anymore? How can LeBron James in basketball today still be dominating at 37 years old? How can Ronaldo at his age still be a big name up to this time? Because these guys, the younger players that are there, have come into academies. They've come into no hardships. If you listen to some of Ronaldo's stories, some of the guys who've come from far and they're still stars, they know the value of work. They know the value of small gains. They know the value. But now we have to put it in our children, because if we don't do that, we are building something that will be very hard for them to delete. I was telling someone yesterday, a kid near the, what do you call this junction, near Adams. They're children who they've closed school. So a kid comes, knocks. And if you don't lower your window, he's busy peeping what you have. And that's a kid estimated probably to be about 9 or 11. What are you teaching that child? One, yes, you're teaching them how to look for money, isn't it?
Yeah.
But guess what? The moment they get something, they start feeling like, hey, this something is working. So you're teaching them the habits of just getting handouts. That child will not develop anything. If they don't get it, they will steal.
Yeah.
And that's the danger of what we are doing. I know there is this saying, if the money you have cannot meet the SG, eat that money. It is good, it is fun.
But now we can't even eat.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. It's that thing is short term.
Yeah.
You're thinking short term, but it's time that you said, you know what, the little that I have. One of the videos that you guys shared was when I was sharing about, if today someone gives you 100 bob for lunch or 200 for lunch, and you had lunch.
Yeah.
Take that money, go to your tokens at home, add your tokens, isn't it? Prolong them.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're driving a car and someone gives you 500, instead of wasting that money because you'll not see where it has gone, fuel that 500, so that you attach recurrent expenses with the little monies that come your way.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us, we only look at our income based on salary and the business we make. Anything else that you make extra.
But you know what we say.
Yeah.
Even when you find money in a piece of cloth, probably you go to your pockets, unapata pesa, alafu uko like, sikukuwa na hizo tano.
Yes.
Let me buy something.
Yeah.
You know, we honestly, I've never thought, let me sort it a current expenditure or something.
In a good season, we were talking about season, in a good season, the worst enemy that you can have is disposable cash. Disposable cash just sitting. Yes, in a good season. Let's say when you're not struggling financially, because now when you're struggling financially, every coin counts. Let's assume you don't have any responsibilities. All you're thinking is doing another color of this dress, you know, because you feel like it's a really nice one. So if you have that disposable income, you've been paid today, and I come to you and I tell you, hey, I need 10K, we've not been paid. Money is coming in next week. What will happen? You'll give me. If we are close, isn't it?
Yeah.
You get a call from the village, hey, this and this cows needs you to be injected, you send the money. Why? Because you have it in your account. But the moment you're in that good season and you say, by the way, I need this X amount of money to survive this month, then get rid of all the others. If you're investing somewhere, if you're in a circle, if you're saving in a certain project, remove it, so that you're left with the only amount that you need for the rest of the month. Now, if I come to you and I tell you I need 10 Gs, you'll be like, right now, I don't have that money. That's the worst thing you can do, having disposable income at a good season. And that's why you'll find people who get money that they had not planned for. They're in more trouble than they were before. Why? Because they're getting all these ideas. Unasikia what they say, maskini akipata.
We'll not finish.
So that is what happens. So getting rid of that disposable income, so that now you're left at a comfortable space to say that this is my budget, I will not go above it because this is all I have for now.
Okay.
Yes.
You mentioned something about a need. and there's also something I want.
Yes.
If I remember from my business school, how does someone know this is a need, this is a want?
You see, there's something I discovered, that we also have money personalities. And there are people who are spenders, major personality are spenders, and hoarders, people who will not spend their money. You know, wale mkono birika, they don't really want to spend their money, but then they are spenders. Now, what normally happens is, if you have a need, there are some things that you need to do, and then there's a want. A need basically is something you cannot do without. You need to sleep, you need to eat. You see, those are needs. And once you do that, a want is basically something secondary. You can live without, but sometimes in this day and age, you must look good, you must wear something nice. So nowadays, wants have been given more priority than
Can you give examples? Because I think we were
a very simple example. Ask guys. The other day we were at a gathering somewhere, and after we finished the gathering, guys, we were coming back to Nairobi, and guys are like, let's do lunch somewhere. So we go, and as we were saying, how much nyama do we order? How much food do we order? So guys were quick to say, I have this and this and this and this, but they took the same seriousness to buy a drink.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
And they were like, let's reduce kidogo nyama so that we can get this mzinga that we are buying. And I was like, guys, are you serious? And there were 3 of them contributing towards one particular bottle of whiskey. And I looked at them, I was like, their effort should have been on food.
On food.
You understand?
Yeah.
How many young people are doing the same? You're going for drinks, but you do a rough meal for you to just get there. You understand? And that is what is happening. So you'll find someone taking a loan to buy an expensive car, and you know now cars are expensive. Every car now is expensive. To buy a car on loan, yet they're struggling to pay fees for their children. You understand? So it's all mixed up. But how you do it, you create a habit, or you create an environment where your bad habits cannot survive.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
So let's say I earn 50,000. And I say, you actually don't really need to save forever. There's a level you will get that you don't need to save.
Yeah.
I've always told people that. Look around, there are people who stopped savings, and now they leverage on even taking loans because they have enough backing to do such kind of borrowing. So you'll find, create an environment that your bad habits cannot survive. So I say, for the next 5 years, I'll do the ultimate sacrifice. Let's say I'm 25. So by the time I'm 30, I'll do the ultimate sacrifice. Yeah. I can say I'll find a very nice circle and do my 20,000. I learn to survive with 30. Okay?
Yeah.
Now 20,000 in a year is 240. In 2 years, 480.
480. Yeah.
In 4 years, that's 960.
960.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
so chances are in 5 years I'll having $1 million plus, and I can borrow 3 times to do the investment that will be available then. Okay. So coming back here, I have learned to survive with 30,000 for the next 5 years only. So what will I do? Because once it's payday, I have gotten rid of the 20,000.
Disposable income.
Disposable income.
Yeah.
I will say, the first thing I'll do, if I give somewhere and there are people I support, or I give to my church, I give out, isn't it? So the little that I have, once I pay rent, trust you me, I'll not be going to the supermarket with my card. I'll have done my math. I will have carried cash.
Yeah.
Flour that is worth 92 bob and another one worth 90 bob. I'll buy which one?
90.
Because 2 bob is a lot of money.
Yeah, it will definitely go somewhere.
Exactly. So that's how now you get rid of your disposable cash. Okay. Now that is for spenders.
Yeah.
Okay. For hoarders, they may not have much of a challenge. But now what happens is that they are normally bypassed by opportunities because of their fear of risk.
Yeah.
Okay. But now rarely will they actually confuse or to confuse a need and a want. But the challenge comes in, they also make emotional decisions, especially ladies, when it comes now to family.
We'll just hold that thought. We will get to the point of families.
Yeah.
Let me see what people are saying. That selected are very true. The authentic diet is way cheaper than what we think is the best diet, quote unquote. Good points on that adjustment, my guy. Who knew that diet and money would be on the same conversation? Kelvin Kinoti is saying facts on facts, thank you so much. Alafu Damaris anasema mimi wewe, I'm happy to see you. Thank you so much Damaris. Brian akona swali hapa anauliza, ask him the easiest way to make $1 million.
The easiest way?
Yeah, somebody is asking that.
What he didn't ask is the easiest legal and moral way.
I can already foresee an answer.
The easiest, we have to be careful, and I don't like answering that question for one simple reason. I don't know where he's at.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't know if he's ready for that 1 million, and even if he's ready, probably there are things, there are gifts within him that can make him that money today. You understand?
Yeah.
Because I don't know who he is, I don't know where he comes from, I don't know his age.
Yeah.
And to just do a quick one, you saw when, let's not even go far. This guy, he's called who? This Omanyala, the sprinter. Overnight, he's now a champ, isn't it? He's made his money through his talent. Now we're in social media era. Someone does video consistently for 2-3 years, now they're making, you look at their rate card and they're making that kind of money.
Yeah.
So the thing is, first of all, you need to ask yourself, are you ready for that kind of money? It's not much, by the way. There are people who've made much, much more. Is it going to bring you problems? Is it going to make you more money?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the question also is, what are you going to do with that money? Being rich is not a goal. Being rich is not a goal. It has to be attached to something. And sometimes I tell people, money without your story is meaningless. A lot of people that we look up to, if you ask them, so give me your story on how you made your money, they start stammering. They tell you I started by digging a hole. They tell you I started by I started with 2 chickens. They started I'm a comedian. I started with 2 jokes.
Yeah.
I mean, let someone tell you that this is where I started. There must be an aspect of loss.
Okay.
I lost this money here, and this is how I built it. Because if I normally say this, if I cannot explain to my 9-year-old what I do for a living, then I'm in problem. I'm in huge trouble if I cannot explain to my 9-year-old where I've gotten my money. Yeah.
You've gotten your answer, bro. I definitely agree. We are all in different seasons. So, check if you have some gifts.
But however, I need to add something. In my book, I've done a book called Turnaround Solutions. And in my book, in the first chapter, I talk about starting small. And probably that's where he is. He's looking at all his problems, the solutions being 1 million. The moment you get 1 million, you'll find other problems that the solution is 20 million. So you have to start a continuous process. And I tell people, there was a time I was so broke that I cannot even fuel my car. So I'm playing tricks on my wife because she had a smaller car. So that I tell her, pressure iko chini, let me take your car for because she could fuel mine. But then I realized this is not sustainable. I was in debt and I was hiding from people. One of my cars was on debt. Yeah. So what happened? I started by asking myself, what is that one thing that I can do that can make me 500 bob per day? Today, without having to think about it. So I took a marker pen and I started writing them. So I saw I could, out of the interviews that I started doing, I could charge consultancy. I could write a book and sell. I could coach basketball because I play. I could sell fire extinguishers because my dad taught me to do that. So over time, I found myself with 9 things that I could do. But some of them needed capital. So I said, the ones that need capital will start last. But the ones that I can do out of my talents and abilities, I can start immediately. So coaching basketball is for me to show up.
Yeah.
Giving talks is for me to show up.
True.
So I started by those ones. Then over time, they started feeding into the ones that needed capital. Okay. And gradually, you start now having multiple sources of income. So it's a good place for him to start based on his abilities, based on what he does in business, based on how he can be able to have several extensions of business and then grow it over time.
Wow, I will not add any words. So back to the topic, for entrepreneurs and for companies, they're also facing hard times, just as well as the people they've employed.
Yeah.
How do they adjust? The first reaction is usually let's downsize. What else can they do? Because people need jobs.
You know, the other day I had gone, sorry, I'm normally full of stories. I had gone to buy something in downtown. You know, the way nowadays they're selling lights. And you go to buy something, nowadays they tell you, don't use the pay bill number. No. Withdraw. Withdraw cash.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Some of these pay bills or till numbers, there are cost to them.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
When you withdraw money from an M-Pesa, it's income to them.
Okay.
You understand? So a lot of them have extensions of withdraw of, they call what? Agent numbers.
Yeah.
Because it's a source of income. Now, we are looking at very little income, depending on the amounts, isn't it?
Yeah.
So assuming you make 8 bob out of my withdrawal of like 1,000 bob, or whichever amount of money, can you see if 100 clients walk in, or if 50, how much money is that? 800,
500.
Isn't it? 500 multiplied by 20 days, assuming you open 20 days a month, how much is that?
10,000.
10,000. 10,000, it has paid the electricity bill.
The rent, probably.
Probably the rent of the business, and probably a portion of the salary of the employee.
Yeah.
Are you seeing what these guys are doing? Because of having a convenient channel for business.
Yeah.
So what I tell people is, as much as you're operating in a certain business, and a lot of us, we've gone into the culture of entrepreneurship. You've said. And because we have these ideas, money is coming, so you wait too long to get a deal that over time bills are accumulating. So we have, first of all, to looking at looking at other sources of income. Number 2, controlling expenses. In that, as I wait for the big deal, I am doing smaller things. Because you'll find someone has waited for a year and a half for a big contract. But once they're paid, they're trying to pay all the bills that have been accumulating. And that should not be the thing. If you're in that kind of business, go into these offices. Now they're all over shared space. Okay? They're cheaper, they're more convenient. You can actually subscribe for certain number of months. And when business has recuperated and you're not doing much better, then you can have a physical office. So controlling expenses is a major, major thing. And most importantly, if you are an entrepreneur, there's this notion of, I'm coming to Pearl, so I must drive a V8 here. Nobody really cares. They're only impressed the first time. Okay?
Yeah.
So you don't have to keep up this image of that I have to borrow, I have to hire a car to do this. People will take you for what you can deliver, not for the image. Okay? Because even when I walk around and people are like, this is you, so you're normal. Because weekends I'm in shorts, you know. And I really don't care, because if you saw my content somewhere and it's helping you, that's all that matters. Forget about me. I have my own struggles, isn't it? Yeah. So we must be able to understand that whatever you have, don't look at it as you. Look at it as a solution that you're giving the world. Okay? Yeah. Whoever takes it, takes it. Whoever doesn't like it, they can look for a solution elsewhere. But you must focus. As an entrepreneur, you're a problem solver. You're giving us solutions. We have problems, you have the solution. We will buy regardless of how you look.
Okay. Yeah. I think that one has hit home. There was a question from my DMs. How do entrepreneurs, especially small-scale business owners, become disciplined in handling finances? Because most of them don't have accountants to handle these roles. So I paraphrased the question, but I guess what the lady was asking is, she has a small business, she sells jewelry, and she was asking, I've been struggling how to balance the money, and by money, she's fairly new in the business. I think it's 3 months. Yeah.
I like that question because I was there. With all the things I was doing, I could not tell the difference between money that I've made in coaching and money that I've made in training. So everything was all jumbled up.
Yeah.
And what normally happens is, again, we also confuse, because you have no proper record keeping, we confuse turnover for profit. Okay? So the moment you make that mistake, first of all, you might find yourself that you're paying more tax than you should, because you have no proper records, or you're paying less. So nowadays, there are so many people. Someone approached me and they told me, I am an accountant, I'm looking for a job, and I don't know what to do. So I told them, what do you do? Yeah, I'm very good. I used to keep records for this boss of mine, but COVID happened and I don't have many.
Yeah.
I asked them, so how much do you charge if you were to do my accounts? And they were like, oh, you mean that can happen? Yeah. You give me a deal, then over time I can get you people. Right now they stopped taking in clients because they have quite a number that they're making money on.
Yeah.
So even an accountant out there, pay something small, agree on a monthly fee that they come to your premises on a monthly basis, they do your finances, they do your books, and then you're able. It's cheaper that way than hiring a whole accountant because it's costly. But you can agree with this person, especially these graduates who've done CPAs. Okay? Now that's also a good hint for guys who've done CPA to start this kind of consultancy and teach themselves about how to do these taxes, because everybody's looking for this. There's a new way KRA wants to evaluate. So if they teach themselves, they can be able to educate even entrepreneurs like her. But I'll tell her, the moment you have an accountant, yes, you'll pay a fee, but it's so much worth because there's now order in your finances. You know how much you're making. You know the times that you're going at losses. Because why else are you doing business? Entrepreneurship, you do business for the sake of making a profit, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you're not making any and you're just there and you're yet to break even, then that means you're doing a rat race. So it's time that you evaluate.
You can't afford an accountant when you have to do it by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, and you see now, I don't think they're expensive. Okay. Because you'll end up spending, at that time I spent less than 5K with that person, and I got them more people. Okay. And because of that, they continue doing for me at a good discount. So it's always good for you. And see, you don't need them for long. Once you learn how to do it, once you learn that this is how they do it, after 6 months you can tell them, now I can be able to do it, or your business will have grown and now you can hire an accountant. Yes.
Okay. But so it's important to have someone to deal with that.
Yes. And also, other than that business, please do something outside your main business. Okay. Do something that can be able to grow your revenue.
All right. Guys, remember you can ask any questions pale kwenye comment section. Let me see what you guys have asked. Gigs Martin is asking, what would you consider to be the best way to save money in Kenya with the current rate of inflation? Again.
It's a question that I don't like to answer, because there are people who are actually saving. They're employed and their employer is giving them an option of buying shares in the company.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So what do? They say, portion of my income to buy shares in this company until I retire. They're using it as pension, and they save it. The return is higher because the company is performing.
Yeah.
There are people like teachers who only know their circle. Okay?
Yeah.
There are people outside there who've taken time to learn about the stock market. I've been talking about the stock market in my social media pages. They've learned how the stock market works. So they normally say, every month 10K goes towards buying my shares pole pole as I accumulate.
Yeah.
There are people outside there who say, my pension is so good that whatever my employer is contributing, there's also my personal contribution. I'm saving that. Now, if you look at the 4 scenarios, all these people have different goals. The pension guy is looking at retirement. This person for SACCO is looking at how they can borrow to probably build and sell or build and stay in their own home.
Yeah.
The person for stocks is probably looking at building a portfolio so that over time they can be doing that as a livelihood. So all those things depend on what this person wants to achieve. Never look for an investment before you have a goal in mind.
So it's the goal should come first.
The goal should come first. Okay. I was coming to Pulse. So if I'm going on my Google Maps, I'm looking for Pulse. Where are they? Yeah. That's where I'm going. So which is the easiest route? So you look at the maps, this one has traffic, this one has not. If I was driving, I'd have gone to town, then come back with another matatu that comes near here.
Yeah. So
it has to be the destination first. What do I want to achieve with my money? Do I want a passive income? Am I looking at retirement? Am I looking at, just living better and having a passive income that I can do sherehe for life? There are those people that want to do that. So it has to be your goal first, then looking at the vehicles that can get you there faster.
Okay. Thank you for that answer. There's also a question here. Is going for loans or borrowing to meet expenses the way to handle the gap of income and more expenses? Truth be told, watu wanakopa, unakula, alafu unalipa, alafu unarudi unakopa tena.
No, we will answer that question with a question. And I know I might be pinned for saying this. Look at the government. Look at the government. Ask this person, is it okay for the government to borrow to pay salaries? If they answer that question,
I think they can answer what I asked.
That's what they say. Because this is what normally happens. We are very good to criticize other people. And I tell people, when you're doing economics, it's about putting resources for proper utilization, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it starts with individuals. That's why in economics, income per capita is very important. Per domestic, the way people are spending their money, the way prices are.
Yeah.
And so it's from individuals now to a nation. You understand?
Mm.
So when you see our nation...
Wait, you mean this habit started individually?
Yes.
What? I thought it was trickling down.
No. It starts with individuals.
Okay.
When you have policymakers, like now, I don't know, all your cousins are vying for MCA.
Mm-hmm.
So when you find people coming in, and like I said, we are dealing with survival. A lot of people, especially MCAs, are going into politics for income.
Yeah.
Times are hard.
Yeah.
You get? Mm-hmm. They are going for ways that everybody's looking for a way to expand their sources of income. Mm-hmm. Because of the scarcity mentality. We feel like everything is scarce and we must fight for it.
Yeah.
So what normally happens is, in a time like this, when you are now saying, I live where I'm living, but let me borrow from these digital apps. I don't know if someone is getting annoyed for me mentioning that. Let me borrow from these digital apps and do what? And probably top up on rent.
Yeah.
Doing that. I saw someone on TikTok sharing that, these digital apps ni kama bangi. Once you start, you won't stop.
Yeah.
And that's the sad thing about it, because you won't stop. So what normally happens is that if we get to a habit of living above our means by borrowing to supplement our spending, then we need to shut up when the government is borrowing to pay salaries. I don't know if they still do. You understand? Mm-hmm. So we need to shut up and look at our finances. It is okay to scale down. Okay? Mm-hmm. It's also a good way for you to evaluate who are your friends and who are not. Mm. Yeah, because if I move back to the village to go and re-strategize, and I say I don't have money, my contracts are not places that I need to go daily. Yeah. So let me relocate to the village for 3 months. As I pursue my businesses, I need to travel once in a while. Mm-hmm. See who will look for you. A lot of our money decisions.
See who will look for you. Yeah. That hit hard.
Yeah. Look around. See how many people, because you need to first of all to ask yourself, who influences your spending? It's basically your friends.
Yeah.
It's basically your family. Mm-hmm. So kama niko na form weekend, we are going to Naivasha and we are a clique of friends. Mm-hmm. Our incomes can never be the same. Our commitments can never be the same. And we say we are each contributing 5K. If you only have 3K available, guess what you'll do? Where will the 2K come from?
Borrowing.
Thank you.
Whoa. Yes.
But then if no one is looking for you, then you're on your own. I keep telling people, you are on your own. Don't depend on your children. Don't depend on friends. You're on your own. When you sit behind, that pillow.
Yeah.
When you sit on that pillow, when you lie on that pillow, if you died today, how many calls will you get of people looking for you if you stay alone? And even if those who love you find you, they will mourn for a month.
And move on with life.
Yes.
Wow. Friends, check your friends, people. Check your friends. So, CBK listed some new regulations for digital lenders. And some of them is, now they're not allowed to share customer information without consent, use threats or violence when they're asking debtors to repay their loan. And then they should notify someone 30 days prior before submission to CRB. And there were so many regulations that CBK listed. But with this in mind, and the Association of Debtors, they have not yet spoken. They said they are going to consult their lawyers. But with this in mind, what does that do to the lenders and to the people who are borrowing?
You know, we are living in a world where it's capitalism that is controlling everything. I don't care whatever or whoever I'm running over, as long as I make my money. And we must accept that these people are here for business. There's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
Because again, we're in economy, like we said, guys are on survival mode. So if I feel like I can take advantage of something to just go past today, I will do it. So nothing will change. These guys will always be there. So the thing is, internally, why am I doing what I'm doing? Because, for instance, you know, it's like I had some other guys competing on who has the biggest limit on the on that particular digital lending app. They're competing who has the biggest limit.
How absurd.
Are you getting that?
Yeah.
Another fact is that a lot of lending is done on Fridays from 3 p.m. All the way to 10 p.m. You want to tell me guys go to Gikomba that time to buy stuff to sell? Let's be honest.
Where?
It's a report
People,
done.
where are you going?
Okay? So the thing is, we must, even if the government today banned digital lenders from the market,
We'll find another way.
you will find another way. You don't know Kenyans.
So
if there are people who are special in this world, it's Kenyans. They will always look for a way out. That one you can take it to the bank. So the thing is, it's not about these lenders. It's not about the government. I wish they would have said that they would deny them access to CRB so that it's one-on-one. Okay, so that they create conditions that these lenders, cannot really work on. But the thing is, there are people who've taken digital loans to build themselves. We have agreed, but a very small percentage.
Yeah.
But now the challenge would be now for the lenders, because anybody who lends you money and you're financially illiterate, they're actually accomplices. Okay, so they should actually work towards financial literacy on how they can help you do that. But who are Kenyans? They want to borrow to spend. So one thing, when you're dealing with these particular apps, please know that it is not your money. There's this notion that it is your money. It is
my money.
It is not your money.
Neza pata limit hapo.
It is not your money.
Yeah.
And two, over time, it's not sustainable. Just know it is not sustainable. It's gonna eat you up, and we're living in dangerous times where now we'll be forced now to live and depend on our children, which is also a big problem. It's a whole topic that we need to discuss.
We'll touch on it. There's someone who asked a question. Yeah, Dad Select. Naona leo umechangamka. Thank you so much. I think ni bro. Anasema very true on that point. Who influences your spending? That made me cut off so many people I thought were my friends. Yeah. Yeah. Spending is so emotional.
It is.
It's emotional. Money is emotional. So there's a question that's related to children and our culture. So this is a question from a colleague of mine. How does one go about the black tax issue during these difficult times? And before you answer, there's a tweet I came across when I was doing my research, and I was like, this tweet just hits the nail on the head. So many blacks in my peer group, so it's CEO of a certain company in America, and she's black. So she made a tweet and she said, many blacks in my peer group are making good money, but because they're the first person in their family to make it, they are still living paycheck to paycheck because their money isn't just their money. Their money is mommy's light bill money, little bro's football money, school fees. And yesterday we had this conversation with a colleague of mine, black tax. I don't know if we can avoid it.
Well, it's very interesting that the last 1 month I've dealt with three very severe cases of whereby now we are looking at an advanced stage of black tax. Because what normally happens, you're on your first job I am your father. I took you through school, I borrowed money, and now you've gotten your first job. And now I'm like, now I can rest. But now I'm like, yeah, I took you through school. I need to buy something. I tell you, pay for it. Then I begin to depend on you. Now, what normally happens over time, the power of dependency brings about self-entitlement. That now I'm entitled to my daughter paying my fare to go to wherever I'm going, or taking care of my drink, or taking care of anything that I do. What happens over time? The day now you're earning more, but you have more commitments. But remember here, you're not emotionally intelligent because you feel like you owe it to your father. You will even borrow money when you don't have to.
But how do you say no?
No. See, that's the thing. I want to take you now to the advanced side.
Okay.
So that continues. So the 3 cases I've been dealing with were actually very similar. These are firstborn daughters. Guess what they're doing? There's one who actually started a business, they're doing well, but they saw the mother had been divorced and then she had remarried.
Yeah.
And what happens? Now the mother is married, but now she is paying all the bills and for the mother, and they are married for the 2.
Oh.
The day she was doing, something happened and she was not doing well. What happens? The stepdad is like, Wani, what is your money for? That's when now it starts to pay.
No.
Another one,
Okay.
Another one was working somewhere, and every time she goes to the village,
Yeah.
Guys follow her to the house because the parents have borrowed, they have debts. They said, my daughter is coming to pay. So every time she went there, she would spend over 150,000. The day she didn't, there was a time also, there was a delay. And she started getting insults from the mother.
What?
You understand?
Yeah.
Now we are looking at an advanced stage.
Yeah.
All we want, especially younger guys, all we want is to make our parents proud.
That's all we want.
And as we make them proud, we will do everything beyond our affordability to please them. That's an emotional decision. So we are getting our confidence now from pleasing other people. That's what I call borrowed confidence. Now you'll have that confidence because it's borrowed. The interest rate is ridiculously high. The day it is not appreciated is when you'll feel it. So the other one who had actually even taken a loan to buy a plot for the mom. Surprise. And then the mom was like, I cannot live there.
No way.
Now, do you see now, this is an advanced stage.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not careful, you will continue and it will hurt more later. You'd rather deal with it now. The best way to deal with this is ask yourself, how sustainable is what I'm doing towards my parents, towards my siblings?
For the long term now.
For the long term. If it's not sustainable, take a break.
How do you take a break?
That's the first thing. You take a break and tell them, for the next 1 year, I'll reduce the money I'm spending. Probably you grow it towards a certain investment that that passive income can sort them out in the long term. All right?
Yeah.
I noticed where I come from, I mean, guys are really struggling. Ukienda huko lazima uache pesa. So
so many young people,
yes,
honestly, they're avoiding going back home.
So what do we do with my siblings? And my elder bro is hard. We said, let's contribute some money. We buy them seedlings for avocado. Okay? And we fill that place. Every time we have a extra 2,000-3,000 shillings, we buy seedlings to jaze huko, so that in the next 5-6 years, whatever little harvest they have is better than what they have. You understand? Instead of sending this, because if you send them 3,000, 4,000, in a year you've spent 20,000.
Yeah.
Those are how many trees? Those are about 100 nice quality avocado trees. So we decided now the guys in the village will keep sending them things that they can take care of and value. You understand?
Yeah.
So that way, if they ask for money, you tell them, hey, tulimaliza pesa na hiyo project tulifanya. So look for something long term that can help them. I'll say this, don't help people on their own terms. That is the problem with black tax.
Your family,
yes,
relatives,
yes,
and all those people. Another
one was telling me my parents are so my parents are so upset with my siblings because I have not paid Netflix. Which is pleasure. You understand? So number one, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So ask yourself, is it sustainable? Number two, have timelines. If you're educating your sibling, tell them, by the way, once you finish, because I'm your brother who's paying fees.
Yeah.
You need to work hard so that you can get a good grade. Because get this from me, even have them write a note. Once you get a good grade and you get to the university, you're taking help and you're leaving my house. You're 18 and you're leaving my house.
Yeah.
I'm only paying fees up to this much.
Yeah.
Let it sink. You understand?
Yeah.
Because we have now, someone is saying, I am 30, I'm taking care of my siblings. One of them is 24. 24 is a grown man. And you're taking care of them. He's a grown man.
Yeah.
Kick them out.
Yeah.
You understand? Because again, we need to be careful. I cannot play the role of God. I don't know your destiny. Even the Bible says, cursed is the man who puts his trust in another man.
Firstborns are good at playing the role of God.
The question is, what if you lost your job?
You know, I feel like the thing is, you want to say no, but you feel like, if I tell my mom no, if I tell my dad no, or my sister, how does that?
You don't have to tell them no. You just have to have boundaries.
Okay.
I will help you, but up to this much.
Do the people who are asking for help, especially parents,
Yeah.
honestly, do they know that you can have boundaries?
No,
Because
it's what
utasikia wakisema, mtoto nilimsomesha lakini hata sikulani.
you teach people how to treat you.
Okay.
Is what you teach them. Tell them, this is the much I have. I stopped lending my friends money. I tell them, this is how much you need. I don't have that kind of money, but I can give you this. And it's money you give and you forget if you have it.
Yeah.
Okay? It is okay to treat people like that because you are helping them. The moment every time you're like, give me 5K, pesa yetu ijaingia, I'll pay you end month. And we are doing that every month. Am I really helping you?
No.
No. The moment you borrow money from me, you give me liberty to get into your finances. So I'll speak. And if you get annoyed and stay away from me, because someone did that to me. There was a time things were thick, I used to borrow money from him. And told me, we're boss. Atuna nisumbua.
Mezidi.
Yeah. So when you're dealing with black tax, have those boundaries. Okay? But if what you're doing is sustainable, if you're already at a place whereby you can do that long term, then continue doing it. But if you know, and that's where a lot of us are, you know what you're doing is not sustainable, think long term. Set boundaries, tell them this is what I want us to do.
Yeah.
Don't help people on their own terms, and have a timeline. Even if you come to Nairobi to stay with me, how long are you here with me? Let's agree.
Yeah.
Yes, because this is my space. Yeah. And you realize that a lot of these siblings now, they're inheriting problems, and this is a challenge actually to men. Men, our money behaviors will affect our children's children. You understand?
Yeah.
If I don't take care of what I'm supposed to take care now, and let's say my kids are out there, and what are you teaching them? The day their mother is not able to work, will start depending on them. And then now your son is making emotional decisions to support their mother, doing your responsibility. Are you seeing?
Yeah.
Are you seeing how now rotten our society is because of us men not taking responsibility early? So we must be able to be very strategic and say, I want to do this, I have my boundaries, and then I make decisions that are sober.
Okay. Black tax. Yeah. So there was also another question. What is the connection between social media and our spending? How do we go about that in this time and age?
Well, I just saw you guys had posted Otile Brown amenunua kiatu ya 80,000. Some of us were googling what that means. Sorry, forgive us for ignorance. And I don't know. You see, for him, you don't know how he got that shoe. He's a big name.
Yeah.
He's a big name. You don't know if this guy is just so talented that they sent him. You don't know if it's a client who promoted him. You don't know. Are you getting this? Some of the things?
Yeah, yeah.
And I normally, someone said the other day that if you see a tortoise on top of a tree, it didn't climb there. Someone put it there. So before you go copy someone else,
Ask
you're not the
yourself.
same. You're not the same.
Yeah.
Get information. And you see, why do you have to copy Otile? Are you seeing me in those issues? When would I wear them, personally?
Okay.
You get it?
Yeah.
Even if you were to copy Jonjo, the late Jonjo, who used to say that he went to, he was asked and he said where he buys his suit. I mean, by the time I'm going there to do a suit, at what level?
Yeah.
At what level am I playing? So forget about social media. For me, I want to use social media for you to get my information. If you get it, that's it. Forget about me. Because I'm in different seasons. Other days you'll see me in this platform, other days you'll see me in this particular platform.
Yeah.
And it's up to you now to understand, because even, and mostly now I'll take it now to people who are looking up to you. There are people who are always looking up to you. They're your children, they're your nephews, they're your workmates. You have a lot of influence. If people see you scaling down and then over time going back, you're helping someone. You're telling people it is okay. One of the biggest words of encouragement when people are really down is for them to know it is okay.
Yeah.
You get? And for me, that's what I live by. If I can't afford something, I'll not do it. I will not do it. I'll stay in the house and just chill. Yeah.
There's a CEO who says if you can't afford it twice, don't bother buying. Yeah, so as we conclude, we're in the election period, and elections right now happen in August, not December. We're going to have elections 5 years to come. In the elections period, we know what happens to money and the economy. But how can we prepare ourselves, especially from entrepreneurial level? Yeah.
Well, that would be a late thing to do, because already we are already getting into the campaign mode. Is for you to look at the nature of business that you're doing.
Okay.
The nature of business or the nature of things that you do, are they related? Will they be affected politically, like what we do? We may not be having these interviews many times during elections, because everybody will want to hear who said, who is leading. You understand?
Yeah.
So I must be able to sit back and ask myself, what area of my business can benefit from politics or can sustain me through politics?
Okay.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, if we are talking about trainings, because I do corporate trainings, they are doing them now. After June, nothing much will be happening. Corporates will be like, let's wait and see.
Yeah.
And that's what normally happens. So you have to look at your business, ask yourself, the kind of business I'm doing, if it's going to be affected in politics, I have to plan ahead and say, now for that period of politics, I'll be doing something else, either to sustain the business or to take advantage of the politics, so that now over time you're not really hit by these things. Okay.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's politically, I have seen, and I'll keep saying this, from all these presidential candidates, from the governors, from the MCAs, every Kenyan is on survival mode. It's personal for all of them. And if you feel like it's about us, it's never about you. It's personal. Like that child who's knocking right now on Gong Road, knocking on your windows and peeping to get a 20 bob. That's how every politician is doing. So you need to pull it to your side, look at things that will favor you. I mean, stay away from useless arguments, build yourself, because August will go.
Yeah, August will go.
Yeah, and December, if nothing happens, January, February next year, you are back at where you are, regardless of who is on the State House. Yeah. So we have to really think ahead and see how we can cushion ourselves.
I think that's a very good perspective. And with that, we want to end the show today. Najua sijajibu maswali zenyu zote zenye mlituma, but the good news is Easter is coming and we will have Amos back. This time round, we'll be talking about how to budget money and spend wisely during holidays like Easter, Christmas. Unajua, sherehe ni lazima, si ni wa Kenya. We understand that. And during that period, I promise you guys will answer some of the questions that you had. I'll document it down. I can even share with him because he does amazing videos pale TikTok na Instagram. Unaweza wambia page inaitwaje?
Yeah, TikTok is Money Gossip. This gossip, umbea, Money Gossip. On Instagram, we are Moneyclinic KE. And where else are we? YouTube, yes. We're on YouTube. YouTube is also Moneyclinic KE. And let's just share. I learn, and what I don't tell people is that I have the privilege of meeting so many people in the last 16 years, doing what I do, and basically I learn from you people. So let's engage, let's learn from each other, and we become better.
Yeah, and we manage our money better. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of the week. Kwaherini. Bye.
See you.